Now on Coast TV News.
Waters receding along the coast after high tide and Erin pulls away. We welcome back sunshine for our Friday and a delightful weekend ahead.
Inlet bridge issues. Flooding shuts down Delaware's main highway north of Bethany Beach. The latest on what is taking place there and other challenges for drivers this morning.
Ready to launch after several delays when you can expect to see the sounding rocket blast off from Wallops Island.
Fenwick Island fight. The action the town council could take today in the legal issue against Denrec and the wind farm project.
This is Coast TV News Today.
It's Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah, Hurricane Erin continues to move away from us. It's leaving behind a bit of an angry ocean out there.
It is, and our reporters last night, they were in the thick of it. They were outside in the wind, the rain. They did a great job.
Our reporters, our photographers, just
everyone, yes.
Great effort by all.
Most importantly, we want to see Erin now just leave us, go away. We want to get back to those final weekends of summer at the beach. Yes, I know, final summer. It's sad. We're going to bring in first meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. Chris, I think everyone wants to know, how will this weekend be?
Well, I think people are going to like me today because we're seeing some really nice conditions going to be developing starting today. We're still seeing some rough surf out there in Ocean City and along our coast after we saw quite a bit of flooding last night during high tide. We had high tide coinciding with that rough surf and that persistent northeast wind, and we had quite a bit of inundation along the coast. We're clear, we're dry this morning. Hurricane Erin continues to lift off to the northeast as high pressure builds in, still a Category 1 hurricane, but as this lifts into the Canadian Maritimes, it will be turned extra tropical. As far as today is concerned, we say hello to sunshine. Dangerous surf is going to continue. We're still seeing waves today, 6 to 9 feet, and that rip current risk is going to continue through the weekend. And then a taste of fall as we go into next week. In fact, it feels like fall out there today away from the coast. Check this out, 57 Redden, 57 in Harrington, and we're at 59 Dagsboro. Still a bit breezy at the coast. Gusts up to 28 miles there in Indian River Inlet. 17 in Rehoboth. Wall-to-wall sunshine for our Friday. An absolutely gorgeous day ahead with temperatures right around 80 degrees this afternoon under mostly sunny skies. And it gets even better into the weekend. We're going to be pushing the low 80s, and then we'll see maybe a little chance of a few thunderstorms late in the weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up, that full 7-day forecast. Matt.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chris. Let's get a live look now at the coast. This is Rehoboth Beach. Not a lot of activity there at this hour on the boardwalk. We'll wait to see as the sun comes up to what will the ocean look like in this area as Erin moves further away from us. And we continue to monitor the situation at the Indian River Inlet Bridge in Delaware Seashore State Park. All lanes of Route 1, that is northbound and southbound, are closed to flooding. And this is what the area looked like just before we went on the air. The crews are back there. A few hours earlier, that work was still continuing after midnight on the north side of the Delaware Seashore State Park. And this is in the general area of where we had that big dune breach last year. Again, we will continue to track the status of Coastal Highway in that area of the Delaware coast. And this was the scene of the north side of the Indian River Inlet back in 2024. The dunes not holding up against the ocean. This happened again in August of 2024. State of Delaware spent millions of dollars replenishing and restoring the dunes here. And with a hurricane off the coast, many people were worried this would happen again.
I feel strongly that it will hold through the night, but obviously I'm going to be paying pretty close attention to that area in particular just because of all of the infrastructure and how critical that pathway is for an evacuation route for the state of Delaware.
And crews began work there last night in the attempt to get that big highway open.
And Coast TV's Kevin Zapay was at the inlet and shows us what DelDOT is dealing with and the effects of Erin and other areas on the Delmarva coast.
Matt, Elisa, the Indian River Inlet Bridge has been closed to the public on both sides. And according to DENREC, it's actually due to the bay side overflowing with water. As you can see right here, I'm near the bay side, and just over here to my left, you can see how deep the water actually is. You can step your whole foot in there. But this storm is not only affecting the bridge, it's affecting down the coast too in Ocean City, as waves are crashing into the pier and people are watching from afar. Water pushed its way all the way to the parking lot at the inlet, which led to this dumpster being pushed into a car, leaving a dent. In Bethany Beach, a different problem. Some roads are completely flooded. making it hard for some cars to push through. People are hopeful this will be the worst of the storm.
Stay away from the water. It's a different animal and people don't realize that.
Back here at the Indian River Inlet, the bridge is still closed according to DENREC. We'll be sure to let you know if it opens back up. I'm Kevin Zapay at the Indian River Inlet, Coast TV News.
Yeah, that is a significant closure for Delaware, and here are some others along the coast that we are tracking this morning. Long Neck Road from Potnetz to Massey's Landing is closed because of flooding. In Lewis, East Savannah Road from Anglers Road to Massachusetts Avenue is closed due to high water. In Ocean City, the police department there reporting Philadelphia Avenue at North Division Street and South is currently closed due to high water levels, as is St. Louis Avenue from 11th Street and South.
Delmarva beaches are feeling the effects of Erin. Dewey Beach officials say ocean access is closed. Rehoboth Beach is listing their status as a double red flag. This is an extreme hazard warning, meaning no swimming. At Assateague State Park in Maryland, ocean access is closed. And in South Bethany, the beach is open for walking, but the ocean is closed to swimmers. We will provide updates on Coast TV News and our app and website on the status of the beaches throughout the day.
Yeah, up and down the Atlantic coast, Erin causing flooding problems. Check out the streets in Margate, New Jersey, and these cars driving through the water. I'm not really sure if that's one of the best ideas there.
Definitely not, and the cloudy weather on Delmarva is having an effect on a scheduled launch at Wallops Island. After several delays, the launch window will open tonight. According to the NASA flight facility, the mission needs clear skies. The TOMX, or Turbulent Oxygen Mixing Experiment sounding rocket, will investigate one of Earth's atmospheric regions. The launch window starts at 10 p.m. and will last until 6 a.m. each day through September 3rd. And there is no need for the September 20th municipal election this year in Dewey Beach. The only candidates who filed by Thursday's deadline were incumbents Paul Bauer, David Jasinski, and Elizabeth Gibbons. All are considered elected to a new 2-year term. According to Bauer, Saturday's candidate forum is scheduled for 3:30 p.m. at the Dewey Beach Life Saving Station, and that is still taking place.
And this just in, Fenwick Island is looking to get money approved for a legal fund challenging DENREC's actions on the proposed transmission lines that would go underneath this area, the Indian River Bay. It's all part of the alternative energy company U.S. Wind's plans to build a wind farm off of our coast. The request could see a vote at today's 11 a.m. town council meeting. It was in January of this year that Fenwick Island Mayor Natalie Magdeburger announced the town was joining with the think tank Caesar Rodney Institute in a lawsuit against DENREC's approval of U.S. Wind's plans.
And here's what Fenwick Island Mayor Natalie Magdeburger said at the beginning of the year about this lawsuit and the Indian River Bay. It is a critical estuary. It has struggled over the years. It's a bay that is already at the tipping point. That's not going in the right direction.
This morning, former Delaware Congressman and Governor Mike Castle will be laid to rest in Wilmington. A burial is planned at St. Joseph on the Brandywine Church at 10:30 a.m. Celebration of life will then follow at the Wilmington Country Club. Mike Castle died last week at the age of 86.
And we're just getting started this morning on Coast TV News Today.
Yeah, coming up, South Bethany stormwater, where the town is focusing its attention in dealing with the continuing issue from rain.
Also elsewhere with Erin, the damage done by the hurricane in areas of south of ours, including a popular vacation spot in North Carolina.
And school set to begin. The Sussex County districts getting ready for a new year on Monday. Coast TV News Today is back after this.
Pleasant Good Friday morning, Delmarva, and a pleasant day it will be. We welcome back sunny skies this afternoon, and we're going to see plenty of sunshine through the weekend. 61 degrees is your current temperature in Salisbury. Wind's pretty calm, and that's allowing for some areas to dip into the 50s. 57 Harrington, 58 Delmar, 58 Millsboro, and we are at 59 in Long Neck, a little milder at the coast. Seeing that wind flow out of the north, gusts upwards of 27 Indian River Inlet. We're clear of any precipitation, clear skies, in fact, as Hurricane Erin continues to lift into the Canadian Maritimes. High pressure builds in, and we see wall-to-wall sunshine through the day today. 75 along the coast, through 80 through much of the inland and eastern shore, with north winds at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Get your latest forecast by dialing the First Alert Weather Phone, sponsored by Broxton Mundalis Federico. We'll have a look at that weekend forecast coming up here in minutes. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. A heads up for drivers in Milford. Bridge painting on Route 1 between Cedar Beach Road and Northeast Front Street is scheduled to begin today. According to DelDOT, this is to clean and paint the structural steel and concrete. If you look at your screen right now, this is the area we are talking about. You can expect lane closures each day, Monday through Friday, from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. DelDOT says completion of the project should occur in the fall.
Today is the final Friday before the start of the school year for some students on Delmarva. Sorry about that. On Monday, it is the first day of school in Laurel for kindergarten, 2nd, 5th, 7th, and 9th graders. In Woodbridge, kindergarten A, in grades 1 through 6, along with 9, they have their first day of school.
Check your freezers. There's been another recall of bagged frozen shrimp. According to the FDA, the shrimp manufactured by Southwind Foods is being recalled because of possible radioactive contamination. They were sold under several brand names at multiple retailers in 9 states between July 17th and August 8th. You should either throw away the product or return it to the store for a refund. So far, no illnesses have been reported. This comes just days after Walmart's Great Value brand bagged frozen shrimp was recalled for the same reason.
ESPN's new direct-to-consumer streaming service is now available. The sports broadcasting network made the name easy to remember. Get this, it's called ESPN. It hopes sports fans who don't get its over-the-air product take advantage of the streaming option. The streaming unlimited plan costs nearly $30 a month. Company says some pay TV subscribers may already get the new flagship streaming platform as part of their package.
Wonderful, another streaming package I have to buy. Well, we are seeing those flooded roadways along the coast, but the good news is we're going to be greeted by sunny skies as we step out the door this morning. Sunrise coming up at 6:22. We'll talk about a delightful weekend ahead and then a taste of fall as we go into next week. I'll bring that to you when CoastTV News Today continues.
Time is 5:16 and you're looking live at clear skies in Lewis and the bright lights of the canal. And Chris, I've checked in with you every day this week about kayaking on our bays. I was looking forward to that today because of all the sunshine and clear skies, but your previous answers to me not been very promising.
No, I mean, maybe you could sneak in a little kayak there in the back bays, but as far as the ocean side is concerned, still going to see some high seas today, 5 to 9 feet. Still dealing with, look at this, 8 to 12 foot waves, but you notice the wind direction more out of the north. We had that northeasterly push yesterday, throwing all that water at the coast. But look at the temperatures at the coast. We're at 69 in Rehoboth, 71 in Lewis, but further inland, we're 59 in Long Neck, 57 in Redden, and 57 in Harrington. That's because of the winds. Winds are calm, clear skies, allows for the temperature to fall quicker. Still seeing some breezy conditions along the coast, but clear. We're dry, and we're going to see a beautiful day as high pressure settles in. Here's Erin all the way pushing up into Nova Scotia and the Canadian Maritimes, and this system, still a Category 1 hurricane, will turn extra tropical as it lifts up into the North Atlantic. We have high surf advisories through 8 o'clock tonight. That's because of those high seas, and the dangerous risk of rip currents is going to continue through Ocean City down to Chicotee. Now, we do still have the coastal flood warnings running through 2 a.m. That's due in part, we could see some moderate tidal flooding through high tide cycles today. We also do have small craft advisories up for both sides of the peninsula through the weekend. We say hello to sunshine today, still a bit breezy at the coast, and really a gorgeous weekend. Could see an isolated storm late Sunday, and again, that high risk of rip currents will linger through the weekend. Highs today, 80 Georgetown, 75 along the coast, 82 Cambridge, a bit milder there along the eastern shore, 78 Crisfield to 80 Pocomoke City. There's those clear skies through the afternoon today. Tonight, I think more 50s on the board, 56 to Georgetown to lower 60s at the coast, and a gorgeous day tomorrow, lower 80s for most of the area. Could see a few clouds early Sunday morning, southern portions of the peninsula, but a warmer day, a tick of humidity. We'll see those dew points back in the 60s, and then we'll see that isolated storm chance as we get into the latter part of the day, all thanks to a cold front that's going to be pushing through. Not a big rainmaker as far as this cold front is concerned, but as behind that front, high pressure builds in, and we're looking at really a prolonged stretch of some pleasant dry weather to round out the month of August. So that's going to feel pretty good. 80 degrees as we see those breezy conditions at the coast. 57 overnight. Cool, crisp night with light winds, and 82 for our Saturday with that high risk of rip currents. We'll see that thunderstorm chance in on Sunday, but then as we go into Monday, last really mild day, because look at those temperatures next week. 70s, look at that morning low by Wednesday, 55 degrees, and that's going to feel pretty good. Lisa?
Thank you, Chris. The main road connecting the Outer Banks in North Carolina to the mainland, Route 12, remains closed. According to Dare County officials, it is a result of extensive ocean overwash and multiple dune breaches. The North Carolina Department of Transportation sharing photos of the construction equipment working on Highway 12. With the number of tourists in the area, it is a situation of concern, and officials have to wait until about now in order to make updates.
When the sun's up and we can see, then we can look at where we are with the roads. DOT will get out there and move sand. We'll find out what's going on, and then we'll start looking at what we do to, begin the recovery and to get people back on the island.
The National Weather Service says a coastal flood warning in that area is in effect until midnight on Saturday.
Also on Saturday in Rehoboth Beach, there's an event to help students as they're getting ready to return to school. The Supply and Barbecue Chicken Giveaway begins at 10:30 a.m. at the Westside New Beginnings Community Center. Students can get free backpacks and free school supplies. The 5th annual event is in memory of Diaz Bonville, who was active in the West Rehoboth community and was a member of the Delaware Human and Civil Rights Commission.
Coming up, from Milton to Berlin and the beaches, your weekend could be packed with bargains, barbecue, and plenty of fun. Stay tuned for your cool things to do when Coast TV News Today returns.
New this morning in South Bethany, we should get a better idea of the town's stormwater project. According to Mayor Edie DiNiro, 9 inches of rain fell on South Bethany last month. She said there are plans to repair damaged or underperforming basins, and that also includes replacing several basins and drains. Town Council workshop on this starts this morning at 9.
Surf at your own risk. That is what we saw in North Carolina with big swells generated from Hurricane Erin. Here's what some people were doing in Wrightsville. It's an area northeast of Wilmington, North Carolina. There have been several water rescues reported at the southern beaches in the state since Monday. And we have a break from strong winds, which means it's a good day to walk on the beach. But again, that water is still a concern.
Yeah, we only have so many weekends left in the summer. And it's like, boy, I'd like to get out there.
You just want to get in the water.
Ride some waves, but I will be cautious, Chris, as we bring in First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono in for Bob Trihey this morning. Maybe at some point in the next couple of days, Chris.
Yeah, good morning, guys. It takes a while for the sea to calm after a storm like we saw with Erin. 70 degrees and lowest, dew point 59. It's a really pleasant start to the day out there. We're seeing temperatures in the 50s away from the coast, but here's that high risk of rip currents through the day today. Seas anywhere between 6 to 9 feet, and that risk really runs up the entire Delmarva Peninsula, so use caution out there. I have a feeling they're not going to let you in past your knees today. We're going to see plenty of sunshine through Ocean City, heading down there for a Jeep Fest today. It's looking very nice. Temperatures right around 77 through the afternoon in Rehoboth and Lewis, with that high seas about 6 to 9 feet. And there's Cambridge, wall-to-wall sunshine, highs around 80 there. And in Crisfield, temperatures right in the upper 70s. Congratulations to our umbrella winner, Melanie Weaver of Millsboro, Delaware. You're the winner of our Paul Davis umbrella. We'll take a look at that all-important 7-day forecast in the next half hour. Lisa.
Thank you, Chris. Well, if your weekend plans are looking a little bland, Coast TV's Christina DeRobertis has some spicy plans to tell you about. Here's your weekly lineup of cool things to do.
Things are heating up in Berlin tomorrow, literally, with the Berlin Chili Pepper Festival. From noon to 5 p.m., it's mariachi, food vendors, and competition. Don't pay full price this weekend. Head to Bargains on the Broadkill for deals from more than 35 vendors, plus a kayak and canoe race and the Great Rubber Duck Race along the river. Support Children's Beach House Saturday night at the Beach Barbecue in Lewis. Organizers promise Margaritaville vibes and live music. Jeep Fest continues in Ocean City Saturday and Sunday. Bring your Jeep to the beach and ride the sand course or enjoy the show from the sidelines. You can visit coasttv.com and click on Cool Things to Do for more details.
Now on Coast TV News.
Waters receding along the coast after high tide and Erin pulls away. We welcome back sunshine for our Friday and a delightful weekend ahead.
Impact from Erin. The latest on the flooding issues that have road closures along the coast.
Wild winds.
It's different, it's seeing something new, it's exciting.
Visitors react to Erin's effect and the potential damage from strong gusts to Delmarva's beaches.
Wallop's launch window after delays all week when it's go time for the sounding rocket mission.
This is Coast TV News Today.
August 22nd, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
And it is 5:29 a.m. Friday vibes as Erin moves away. And as we said a few moments ago, I don't think there's wave riding in my weekend plans.
I'm really hoping that it all calms down and you can ride some waves, because I don't think you're going to be pleasant to be here on Monday if you don't get a weekend.
You know me so well.
No.
I can be moody
Chris,
on those things.
Chris, it is going to be brutal if we have to deal with that on Monday. No, I'm just kidding.
That is an exaggeration.
We got to get him in that kayak, get him out on the bay today. Well, we're going to continue to see high surf today, unfortunately. For much of the coast here, you still see those high waves crashing along the beach there in Ocean City. We had those waves all up to the boardwalk yesterday, and we'll be seeing the bay here pretty soon as that sun rises, and those high surfs continue there in Rehoboth Beach. But as far as precipitation goes, it is clear, dry. We're seeing clear skies, high pressure building in here. Erin continues to push up into the North Atlantic, still a Category 1 hurricane, but this will be turning extra tropical as it pushes up into the Canadian Maritime. Sunshine returns, but as I mentioned, dangerous surf, and that rip current threat is really going to continue through the weekend, and we're going to get those temperatures back up into the lower 80s. Could see an isolated shower or storm Sunday, and then we settle into a nice, dry, pleasant, cool, crisp weather pattern as we push into the final week of August. We're at 57 Redden, 58 Delmar, 58 Gumboro, a bit milder at the coast with that wind coming in off the bay. You can see some gusts still reaching 28 miles an hour, Indian River Inlet to 20 in Bethany Beach. Wall-to-wall sunshine through the day today, 78 Lewis to 78 Rehoboth. 79 in Chicotee with those winds out of the north, anywhere between about 15 to 20 miles an hour. A bit more breezy at the coast, but needless to say, a gorgeous Friday and a nice high note to end the week after the flooding we've seen along the coast. Coming up, we'll talk about the weekend ahead in that full 7-day forecast. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. And we continue to monitor the situation at the Indian River Inlet Bridge and Delaware Seashore State Park. All lanes of Route 1, that is northbound and southbound, are closed due to flooding. That is what the area looked like just before we went on the air. And next, we'll take you south of the inlet to Ocean City. On your screen right now is the Ocean City parking lot, where on Thursday, foamy ocean water nearly completely engulfed every spot.
Yeah, Coast TV spoke with a few college friends who said the start of the semester won't stop them from seeing this jarring event.
It's only once in a lifetime you come to Ocean City and see massive waves like this. So
peak is supposed to be at 8 p.m. today, but I hope it's not going to get too much worse than this.
I mean, this is it. This is the biggest part of the storm.
And last night is said to be the worst of any expected flooding in Ocean City.
Yeah, that's what's happening in Ocean City right now. Waves still coming in strong. And several streets in the town shut down right now due to that flooding. You can see this in the picture here. Ocean City police say Philadelphia Avenue at North Division Street and South currently closed due to high water levels. St. Louis Avenue from 11th Street and South also closed due to those high water levels.
And take a look at this. Here's footage of the effects of Erin in New Jersey. You can see a person kayaking on a flooded street in a coastal town in the Garden State. Not the best idea.
Yeah, well, Hurricane Erin's winds whipped across Assateague and Chincoteague. It created rough surf and blowing sand up the shoreline. You can see some, look at that right there. But for some visitors, the storm had added a unique twist to their trip.
It's different, it's seeing something new, it's exciting, it's not just sort of sitting by a warm beach. But also I hope it hasn't had a negative impact on anybody, in terms of their homes and businesses.
Public safety officials say so far damage on the islands has been minor, but they continue to keep a close watch on flooding and erosions as Erin's effects linger.
After several delays, we are expecting the launch for the TOMX Plus at Wallops Island tonight. According to the NASA flight facility, the mission needs clear skies. The TOMX, or Turbulent Oxygen Mixing Equipment sounding rocket, will investigate one of Earth's atmospheric regions. The new launch window opens tonight at 10 o'clock.
All right, let's go live now. Washington, D.C., a big financial win and a big policy loss for President Trump in the courts. President, riding high off his legal victory in New York, greeted National Guard troops and law enforcement patrolling the streets of the nation's capital.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us the president thanked officers and promised to make the Capitol beautiful.
Well, I just want to thank everybody very much.
This morning, as President Trump celebrates a legal win for his business empire, his administration's immigration crackdown is taking a hit with a federal ruling that could spell the end of the controversial migrant detention center known as Alligator Alcatraz. A Florida judge ruling the center can stay open for now, but cannot accept new detainees or do any construction, and must remove all generators, sewage, and waste receptacles within 60 days, calling into question how it could keep operating. Environmental groups that sued calling it a victory for the Florida Everglades ecosystems. The state of Florida, partnered on the site with the Trump administration, is appealing.
You're doing incredible.
That as President Trump thanked the federal law enforcement and National Guard troops he's deployed on the streets of D.C. to crack down on crime.
We're going to have the best Capitol ever.
While celebrating a win in a case against him, as a New York appeals court threw out the $500 million judgment he faced after being found liable for civil fraud.
They stole $550 million from me with a fake case, and it was overturned.
The 5-judge panel was divided, with 2 finding President Trump was correctly found guilty of fraud, 2 saying he should receive a new trial, and 1 finding the case should be dismissed. All 5 ruled the penalty was excessive. New York Attorney General Letitia James plans to appeal. In 2022, she accused Mr. Trump and his family real estate business of inflating his net worth to get better loan terms, now highlighting that the ruling that he committed fraud still stands. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
New overnight, Eric Menendez has been denied parole 36 years and 1 day after him and his brother Lyle shot and killed their parents in the family's Beverly Hills mansion. The highly anticipated hearings are the closest the brothers have come to freedom after decades in prison. Eric now has to wait for 3 years until he will be able to pursue parole again. Lyle Menendez will have his hearing today.
Fenwick Island is looking to get money approved for a legal fund challenging DENREC's actions on the proposed transmission lines that would go underneath this area that you see on your screen, the Indian River Bay. It's part of alternative energy company U.S. Wind's plans to build a wind farm off of our coast. The request could see a vote at today's 11 a.m. town council meeting. It was in January of this year that Fenwick Island Mayor Natalie Magdeburger announced the town was joining with the think tank Cesar Rodney Institute on a lawsuit against DENREC's approval of U.S. Wind's plans.
And at that Fenwick Island meeting, officials will discuss and could take action on several items, including the consideration of a stormwater and flood resiliency fund to support public infrastructure, the creation of a small library at Town Hall with books on plants, green infrastructure, dark skies, and other issues to help educate the community, and a plan to use native and non-invasive plants in public spaces around town.
More storm water up for discussion. This is in South Bethany, and we should get a better idea of the town's project there. According to Mayor Edie Dondero, 9 inches of rain fell on South Bethany last month, and she said there are plans to repair damaged or underperforming basins. That includes replacing several basins and drains. The town council workshop on this starts this morning at 9.
A deadly car accident happened near Angola this past Tuesday. It took the life of 1 woman and injured several others. DSP identified the woman as 68-year-old Tracy Harden of Lewis. The investigation is ongoing, and anyone with information on the accident is asked to contact the Delaware State Police. And for more information on that accident, you can read our article on CoastTV.com.
And we have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, care for the chronically ill. We look at a new site that aims to address challenges for those suffering.
Also, the Delmarva Shorebirds have seen some highly touted prospects giving their club new life. We'll see if the baby birds keep chirping after last night's game.
And celebrating the life of Mike Castle, we look at the plans to honor the late congressman and Delaware governor. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
A pleasant good Friday morning. Delmarva taking a live look into Salisbury. Take a look at those blue skies here. Beautiful look there. Clear conditions as the sunrise at 6:21. 61 degrees there. Dew point 59 degrees. So very comfortable start to the day as winds are pretty calm in the interior portion of the peninsula. 57 Redden, 61 Laurel. We're at 70 in Rehoboth and 59 in Longneck. A bit milder at the coast. You see winds right now gusting 19 Rehoboth, 26 in Indian River Inlet to 20 in Bethany Beach. Clear of any precipitation. You see the high pressure building in, that northerly wind flow as Hurricane Erin pushes into the Canadian Maritimes. We're at 80 degrees today, average high 85, and a gorgeous weekend with temperatures generally in the lower to mid 80s. And then we see a nice drop off in temperature next week as we settle into a little taste of fall as we round out the month of August. We'll talk about that more extensively in that full 7-day forecast. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. This morning, former Delaware Congressman and Governor Mike Castle will be laid to rest in Wilmington. Castle's funeral, a massive Christian burial, is scheduled at 10:30 this morning in St. Joseph on the Brandywine Church on Old Church Road. A celebration of life for Castle will be held at the Mass at the Wilmington Country Club. Mike Castle died last week at the age of 86.
The Texas Senate Committee has advanced the GOP redistricting bill ahead of a full Senate vote. The Texas Senate Committee on Redistricting voted Thursday to advance House Bill 4 to the full Senate with a favorable recommendation. This looks to redraw the state's congressional map and produce 5 new Republican-leaning districts. Once approved by the Republican majority in the full Senate, the bill will head to Governor Abbott's desk for signature.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
In the minor leagues, the Delmarva Shorebirds have been dominating against the Kannapolis Cannonballers team that's now lost 10 in a row. Their midweek series continued last night where the Shorebirds looked for their 3rd straight win. Did I say Shorebirds? I meant Shorebirds. They didn't look like the Shorebirds of the previous 2 games. In this one, they lost to the Cannonballers last night 8-2. And like we mentioned, Kannapolis snapping that 10-game losing streak. These are the 2 teams at the bottom of their respective divisions in the Carolina League, but there is still good reason to get excited about the final half of this series, especially if you're a fan of the Orioles and if you're a fan of the Shorebirds. One of the lone bright spots of last night's game, even though Delmarva only scored 2 runs, the first run was driven in by the number 19 pick in this summer's Major League Baseball draft, that being Auburn's Ike Irish, and he has been absolutely tearing the cover off the baseball since coming to Purdue Stadium. Hit his first professional home run 2 nights ago in a Shorebirds win, and then, as we mentioned, had that RBI last night in a slow offensive day for the Shorebirds. And good news for you guys, if you can't make it out to Purdue Stadium tonight, just like we have throughout the entirety of this series so far on DSN, we'll be live streaming at 7 o'clock tonight. That'll do it for sports. Have a great morning.
You just saw there on Delmarva Sports Network tonight, you get live Shorebirds baseball. The Birds continuing their series at Purdue with the Cannonballers, 7 o'clock airtime there. And then at 10:30, you can catch the final score.
More material has been revealed from the Beatles vault, and Mariah Carey gets a major honor. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Beatles fans have a lot to look forward to. A reissued version of the band's anthology retrospective project will be released this fall with all new content. A music box set will include previously unreleased demos, and the documentary will be put out as a series on Disney Plus with an additional episode.
What do you want from me, brother? What do you want?
Daniel Day-Lewis returns to the big screen. This is your first look at Anemone, which marks the actor's first film since 2017's Phantom Thread. Day-Lewis wrote the script with his son, Ronan, who directs. Anemone opens in theaters October 3rd.
I'm trying to make it a party to end all parties.
Mariah Carey will be celebrating at this year's MTV Video Music Awards. The singer has been chosen as the latest recipient of the coveted Video Vanguard Award. Carey will also perform at the ceremony in New York on September 7th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
Well, it's been a long week, that's for sure. We're going with a large coffee today, extra large in fact. We welcome back sunshine, 80 degrees. Still going to see some coastal flooding issues during high tide cycles on both sides of the peninsula. We'll talk more about that, as well as a delightful weekend ahead. Coming up in that full 70 forecast when Coast TV News Today continues.
The time is now 5:48, and we are taking a live look outside at Lewis on this clear sky morning, Chris. It definitely felt like fall outside, though. I walked out and I was like, wait, it is very cool outside.
Yeah, you know, I've been saying a taste of fall next week. It feels like fall this morning, right? Skies have cleared and winds have calmed, and that has allowed for temperatures to fall pretty rapidly overnight. You see wave heights still clocking 9 to 11 feet off the coast, but you can see more of a northerly wind component instead of more of an onshore wind, so that is certainly good news, but we're still going to be dealing with that high surf today. We're at 59 Long Neck, 58 Millsboro, 57 Redden, but still holding in the 70s here along the coast, all thanks to that wind coming off the water. Look at that, still gusting at 26 Indian River Inlet, but when you go further inland, winds are virtually calm. Clear skies across the area as high pressure builds in. There is Erin still kicking at this hour as a Category 1 hurricane, and it's lifting up into the Canadian Maritimes, and then will eventually turn to an extratropical cyclone. High surf advisories continue for the Delaware coast through 8 o'clock tonight, right down to Ocean City, in through Assateague Island. Still going to see wave heights upwards of 6 to 9 feet. And then even in the weekend, it's going to take a while for the seas to calm. Still going to be dealing with that high rip current risk through the weekend. Coastal flood warning remains in effect through Saturday 2 a.m. Could still see some moderate tidal flooding during high tide cycles, and that will continue at least for the back bays as well. We have that coastal flood warning, Dorchester, Somerset, Wacomico throughout the Chesapeake Bay, as well as small craft advisories that run through the weekend. But good news is plenty of sunshine today and into the weekend. We see an isolated shot of a thunderstorm coming in on Sunday. Highs today, 80 Georgetown, 80 Dover. We'll see 82 Cambridge to 78 Crisfield, 80 in Pocomoke City. So there's the clear skies through the afternoon. Tonight, another cool, crisp night as we dip into the mid to upper 50s away from the coast, lower 60s at the coast. Gorgeous Saturday under mostly sunny skies. And then as we go into our Sunday, partly cloudy, more of a southerly wind, so the tick up in humidity, but still a gorgeous day. And then that threat of an isolated afternoon, evening thunderstorm as that cold front pushes through. Once the cold front pushes through, high pressure builds in next week, and we settle into a pretty nice weather pattern. In fact, below normal temperatures as we round out the month of August. 80 degrees for your Friday under mostly sunny skies, 57 overnight. A cool, crisp night under starry skies, 82. Spectacular again with that high risk of rip currents continuing through the weekend, so keep that in mind if you're heading to the beach here through the weekend, at least through Sunday. Monday, 84, and then look at that drop, 76 into Wednesday with overnight lows dipping into the lower to mid-50s.
Chris, that's like football type weather. All right, as we move along, ground was broken Thursday in Smyrna for a new Delaware hospital for the chronically ill. Officials say the current facility, built decades ago, no longer meets today's healthcare needs, with services spread out and people in the area struggling to access care. The new site aims to address these challenges with a 3-story, 120-bed hospital, bringing all services under one roof. It will also be divided into 5 communities, which leaders say could help foster a greater sense of home and community for people living in that area during their hardest days.
Making sure that we have this kind of place for people to go who will be well cared for and live their life as if they are living at home is of utmost importance.
Officials say this $90 million project expected to be completed by 2027.
The time is now 5:52, and we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
Okay, it's brought to us by the Brandywine Valley SPCA. That is the case on Fridays. And check out Oakley, everybody. That is a great
smile.
I love that smile. And we're being told that Oakley's a super kind and loving dog, of course. Look at that smile there. And loves her playtime and is very happy-go-lucky 5-year young girl. Lisa, I think you might need Oakley to
Oakley's adorable.
hang out with you. If you want to adopt Oakley or any other lovable pet, head on over to the Brandywine Valley SPCA.
And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
Yeah, that's where that QR code is, top center. Scan that. That allows you to get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
Health officials say the death toll in the Legionnaire's disease outbreak in New York City has gone up. Officials say at least 6 deaths have been reported. The number of cases has also increased by 111. The outbreak was first announced on July 25th. Health officials suspect Legionella bacteria originated in cooling towers. Those are devices that use water to cool large buildings and then dispense mist into the air.
Around 600 Centers for Disease Control and Prevention employees were notified of permanent layoffs this week. About 2,400 workers were initially terminated in April, but a federal judge ordered hundreds to be reinstated. The Department of Health and Human Services has said reducing the number of employees at the CDC will make it more efficient.
The time is now 5:56, and we are going to take another look at your forecast before you head out the door.
Yeah, Chris, moments ago you mentioned about some of that cooler weather, maybe fall weather.
Yes.
Just in time, there are football games in our area, college and high school, that take place next week.
Yeah, and then we got NFL football in 2 weeks, the NFL regular season. But yeah, it's actually feeling pretty good outside right now. We're in the 50s away from the coast, and if you're heading on down the Jeep Fest today, we're looking very nice. In fact, right through the weekend. In fact, still going to be seeing some rough surf, a little bit breezy today, but we're going to see plenty of sunshine and temperatures generally in the upper 70s to around 80 on Sunday. So looking pretty nice in Ocean City over the next 3 days. In fact, it's looking pretty nice for virtually everywhere here. We're looking at a chance of an isolated thunderstorm Sunday as a cold front comes through, and then there is that nice push of fall-like temperatures dipping into the low to mid 50s there by Wednesday morning.
All right, thanks, Chris. And coming up in our next hour, ocean issues as Erin moves further away, how the surf has left us with challenges, including those for our morning commute. That and more when we continue with Coast TV News today.